Tonight with a grim update out of Southern California. Police thought something didn't add up, and now the parents of a missing 7-month-old baby are under arrest, facing charges of murder. Good evening, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Vargas. Police continue to search for the body of 9-month-old Emmanuel Haro tonight. Sources tell News Nation that police believe the father killed the baby, and they say it happened inside the home. Sources tell us a substantial amount of blood was found on the carpet inside.
You heard that right. There was a significant amount of blood found inside of the home, and sources say that law enforcement believes that Jake did it. Now, this means that this was not an accident. No, this was something far worse. And we know that because of Rebecca's charges. At the time of this recording, we're still waiting on Jake's information to process, but we know for a fact that Rebecca was charged with murder with malice intent, which means this is not an accident. This is not something that happened in the heat of the moment and you did something, but you didn't intend to kill someone. No, this is worse than a regular murder charge. This means that they had, or at least Rebecca had, because we're waiting on Jake's charges, the intent to take the life of Emmanuel, her own child. That's what her charges show. Now, I'm wondering, because law enforcement, the sources say at least, that law enforcement believes Jake did it. So why would Rebecca be getting this charge? I know that she was in on it because she helped cover it up. But would she get the same charges as Jake? I don't know. But I do suspect that we may see some of these charges change down the line. I think they're going to, throw the worst charge they can at Rebecca and try to get her to talk and reveal more information about what happened. I think they're trying to get Rebecca to flip on Jake. And I noticed something interesting about their arrest footage. I'm not a body language expert, obviously, but on the day that Emmanuel was reported missing, when Rebecca was doing the whole news interviews, walking around, crying frantically, people who were out there that day said that Rebecca was walking normal. But when the news arrived and the police and cameras arrived, she started acting like she was limping. She put on an act. Well, obviously it's over a week later, but I noticed in the arrest footage, she wasn't limping to the police car. She was walking like normal. And for some reason, I get the odd feeling that for her, the jig is up. For her, the act is over. She already gave her best performance outside of the Big Five when she got in front of the cameras pretending that her kid got kidnapped and she got knocked out. That was her best performance. And let's just say it was not Oscar worthy. So I think for her, the act is up. But for Jake, if you noticed, in the arrest footage, he's hobbling to the car. He's limping to the car like he could barely walk. He wasn't acting like that on the day that Emmanuel went missing, but he's acting like that now. That indicates to me, like maybe he got injured along the way when the police were taking him out the house. I don't know. But I think, judging by the arrest footage, maybe I'm reading too much into things, it looks like for Rebecca, the act is up, but for Jake, the act has just begun. Because for Jake, this is not his first rodeo. Jake's already basically ended the life of a child before. This isn't the first time. And because it's California, this might not even be the last. Hell, after what he did to his last kid, reportedly he only served 1 day in jail and then got work release and just would go home every night and never had to serve any real time. So I don't know if he even understands the consequences of hurting kids in, the real world outside of, I guess, California with the weird judges that they have. But hopefully this will finally, bring him down for life. He should have already been in jail for life, if you ask me. But the point is, this is not his first rodeo. Last time this happened, he blamed it all on the mother of the child. Okay? So I have no reason to believe that he's just going to, go along with the charges now. No, he's going to try to blame it all on Rebecca. He's going to try to place this on Rebecca. History repeats itself. Jake hurt a child before. Now we know he hurt a child again. Jake blamed the mother before. Jake's going to blame the mother again. Sure, Rebecca's walking around with black eyes, but here comes Jake hobbling out the house. Now he's going to pretend like he's the battered husband or something. Dude's a complete scumbag that will not accept any accountability. He's never really truly been held accountable for any horrible thing he's done in his life. And he's going to try to dodge accountability again. It's not going to work. But I basically can see this coming for sure. But at the time of this recording, they still haven't found Emmanuel. They have found plenty of evidence. That's why they have arrested both Rebecca and Jake, but they haven't found Emmanuel. However, I think that may come soon. Because the biggest step in finding Emmanuel was separating Jake from Rebecca. And maybe that's another reason why they wanted to go ahead and make this arrest. They got the evidence they need. You know what I mean? They have evidence showing that Rebecca lied about her story. They got multiple different camera angles showing that parking lot. So they know for a fact that Rebecca made up the story. And you're not going to make up a story about your kid getting kidnapped for no reason. Obviously, you did that because you're covering up what happened to your kid. So just from the security footage alone, they already know, okay, you're guilty, right? But that's not enough, to piece this entire case together. Now, they went to the home. We heard that they cut out portions of the floor. And I said, hey, maybe they cut out portions of the carpet. That's probably what happened. They say there's a significant amount of blood. And I'm sure they got other evidence as well because they got phones, laptops. And sometimes I think what helps investigators put the pieces together is sometimes lack of evidence, if that makes sense. For example, their house had different security cameras and ring cameras, but supposedly they deleted all of the footage from their home. So that right there is fishy. That right there lets law enforcement know that something ain't right. But they don't have the body yet. And that's what we're waiting on. Now that Jake and Rebecca are separated, they're going to get one of them to talk. I think that it's more likely that Rebecca will come forward with the truth. And I'm not saying that Jake won't tell the truth, but he's going to tell his version of the truth that's going to try to place it on Rebecca. And Rebecca may try to place it on Jake, but that's probably just because Jake actually did it. But we're going to see how this plays out. The next coming days will be interesting. For now, you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.